To Homes on Colfax, you come to the right place. Welcome to the Ask Mr. Greenthumb in Real Estate Show with Stan DeFreitas, the dad, and James DeFreitas, the son. For the next hour, call in with your questions about gardening, growing your favorite veggies, and growing your products in real estate. Call them anytime at 727-254-7127. That's 727-254-7127. And now, your host, Stan DeFreitas.
And a good morning or good evening or good afternoon, depending on what it may be when you are catching our show. Whenever it may be, James DeFreitas, of course, is my great son, and he is my co-host, or we are co-hosts together.
Absolutely. I am here. Again, I am James DeFreitas, and we are here every week. And, of course, the show, as long as there's not a Gator game, we're on Saturday evenings at 8 p.m. So if you can't catch us there, then you can catch us at 8 a.m., pardon me, on Sunday mornings. And so therefore, we've got you as a early riser, or if you like to be a night owl, we've got you either way. So you will not miss out. Also, these shows also go up on your favorite podcast, wherever you download your favorite podcast. You can download this show. It gets uploaded, I know, on Apple Podcasts. So there's one for sure you can reach. Of course, it's just that easy. You type in Ask Mr. Greenthumb, and it will come up with our program. So we've got you every which way. It's up to you at this point.
So I think we're live right now, at least on some of the streaming platforms.
Yeah, I think we can confirm that, right, Brian?
And
we're getting the thumbs up.
Thumbs up. That's great.
That's correct. So
Brian's in master control. He's turning all the knobs and dials, and much like the Wizard of Oz, making sure we sound good. So we appreciate him and the entire staff at AMA 60, The Answer, who make this show happen. And that is a wonderful thing. I was thinking, with plants right now, if you have tomatoes or you have peppers out, if you've got some of those plants, we're pretty hot still. So you're going to have fungus problems. Humidity is back up. Now when we had the hurricane through, we had a nice little cold spell kind of drop down as the low depression went off, the high depression kind of came in. And it was actually nice and cool in Florida, or at least cooler for us. And now we're kind of back to summer.
Right.
So that's just typical Florida. When you think of November, you don't think of 80 degrees, but in Florida, we can be the exception to the rest of it. But it's good in some respects because we can grow some veggies year round. And I'm not so sure people shouldn't be thinking of the Victory Garden idea.
Mm-hmm.
And that was very big in World War II. Have some of your own veggies in your own backyard. You can build your own earth boxes. You can grow your own. I have some earth boxes, which were good, but I've also raised boxes. You built me a box. Actually, I need your help sometime. I need to move it from where it's at.
Yeah. We built, and we actually did there's a YouTube video of me building this box, and it's on.
How do we see that?
You just log in to, or take, point your browser to YouTube, and you type in real simple. You just type in Ask Mr. Greenthumb. If you just type in Greenthumb, you're likely to come up with Dr. Greenthumb, and that is a Cypress Hill video about smoking weed. So that's not our channel.
You don't want that.
Well, you might want that one, but you don't want that if you're trying to actually find the
Go
box.
to mine first, because if you go to that one and you
Right.
start participating, you'll never find.
Right, there you
Ask
go.
Mr. Greenthumb.
Well, you might have to after you see I don't know. Maybe you might have less motivation to build the box. One thing is, if you go,
You sound like a co-conspirator on that one.
I'm telling you. But anyway, so if you go to the YouTube, type in Ask Mr. Greenthumb, it should come up with our page, which is me on the page. And if you see videos that we've done, one of the videos is on building the permanent box. And one of the things that I did for that box is, like, we've had stuff made out of cedar, and again, cedar has its place. I think it's rot resistant a little bit, but I think Florida is a unique climate, and I think that we, last week we were talking about funguses. We devoted probably the first half of the show to funguses. And one of the reasons we have such a fungus problem is due to the nature of being constantly wet here. We're in the summer rainy time, we're getting a couple inches every day, it seems like. I mean, I don't, and it was, you probably know how much rain we received this year.
We're over, I think, this year a little bit, I think by 5 or 6 inches so far, but which is good, better than being under probably 5 or 6 inches. Some of that probably due to the tropical storm and hurricanes that didn't exactly hit us.
Yeah.
We were lucky. Thank God.
We were so lucky.
If you look at what happened in the southwest Florida down below us, it's like a bomb went off down there. My heart goes out to those poor folks who literally had like a bowling ball go through and just knock a lot of buildings down, just decimated. I mean, it literally.
It looked bad.
The power of a nuclear warhead almost going off down there as far as the damage that's been done. No radiation, but the damage was horrible. And then had or email me and text me saying, are you okay? Because originally it looked like the whole thing was coming right up the middle of Tampa Bay, which would have been horrible for us. But it turned out that it turned in way south from us to the chagrin of the folks down in Naples and the Fort Myers area. That whole area had a tough time because the wind came in. One of the problems with Florida is we're a nice little peninsula that tends to, we're in a lot of the Caribbean, so Caribbean, whichever you want to call it. And when those storms come up, we're normally in the firing line.
Nolans,
yeah, they're
New Orleans.
Right now, it looks like the Peninsula is out pretty far.
Yeah,
we get past the point of when they should be. Typically, by the end of November, we're through with any storms. Usually,
right. Well, I haven't seen any. I don't think. Again, I can stand corrected here, but I don't think we've ever had a major hurricane.
No, December, January, February is not hurricane season, and in fact, the old days, the sailors would count when they knew it was going to be hurricane season, and when they tried to come here by ship, they would try to avoid the major part of hurricane season because obviously, if you're in a medium to small size wooden boat, and you're out in the middle of that kind of waves,
right?
Many of them didn't make it.
Right. No. And again, it's definitely one of those things where that's why when I see people putting up decorations, in my neighborhood in particular, there was a lady who put up, I don't know, she had these. She went way overboard with the Halloween decorations, and she was putting them up, as early as I think she had them out there by September 1st, and I'm going September, October, I don't know, man. That doesn't.
Did she have to take them all
she
down?
Did. She did when there was the threat of hurricane coming our way. There was this frantic woman running around, and to give you the idea of how much she had her poor husband, who just probably is trying to stay out of the way. Okay, he's like out of the tsunami. Okay, but he's sitting there and he's got his pickup truck, and he's loading up all these silly decorations that that I'm sure they get it. But then again, I'm looking at it going, the poor husband, because I see him doing the heavy lifting and she's pointing. But anyway,
the division of labor.
Yeah, he'd be happy with putting up one Halloween trick-or-treat sign and calling it a day. But that's not the case for him. He had this lady who decided she was going to make an entire graveyard in her front yard, which she did. But I saw her moving this stuff, and it's decorations so he can a little closer to Halloween.
A lot of people love it. It's their favorite holiday. I think it's nice, but it's not. I don't necessarily think it has to be demonic because, and I have a relative who who says he's not judging folks, tends to get on there and rant and rave about how bad Halloween is. And to me,
the kids like
it's the intent.
The kids like it. And I mean, now I will say I did not pass out trick or treat stuff this year. And matter of fact, here's the deal. And not everybody can see it this way, but when you have dogs, trick or treating is not fun. Okay, it's not fun for the person that has to be. It's not. Well, that's not fun either. Okay, but it's not fun for the person. Nice little dog. My dogs go bat. You know what?
Right.
Won't say it. But the point is, you know what I was about to say. And it takes 5 minutes for them to calm down after you've knocked on the door, and then bangs. Does it calm down? You're hitting the doorbell again. So it's becomes a very frustrating. This is sort of a joy moment, but you know, put a little sign saying, "Sorry, I can't eat because I'll diabetes." So, and then what's interesting is the cultural difference is interesting with Halloween. So I guess it's a neighbor, and she's a very, very sweet lady, and she's from Ecuador. She forgot it was Halloween, you know, and somebody knocked on the door, and she goes, "We don't Halloween in Ecuador. It's this American holiday, basically. We don't." Because I didn't have anything, so I gave an apple. And the kid, she goes, "You would have thought that I had yelled obscenities at this small child."
Hey, an apple is worth a lot these days.
Yeah, she goes, "I get an apple because what I had." She goes, and the next kid came by, and all I had was a pomegranate. So she gave him a pomegranate.
Even more valuable.
Right. And then her husband came out and goes, "It's a $5 pomegranate. What are you doing?" And I was upset that he was giving away such a valuable item. But you know, it is interesting. I mean, I know we're way off to track here since we were talking about gardening and real estate, but it's something we went through recently with Halloween weeks ago, and you know, it's the time people see the show live. You know, it's one of those things. Just different cultures do things differently. I wasn't prepared, so
we had a box or thing of candy ready, and nobody came, not one. Now I find that odd. We can talk about that after the other side of the break, but typically I usually get a dozen kids.
Yeah.
And so that'd be fine. You could, hey, you'd pick out your best candy.
You got a lot of steps. Those kids don't like those steps.
It's okay.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned as the Plant Talk and Real Estate and Candy Talk continues here on Name 860. The Answer.
Interested in a home consult? Remember, you can reach Stan at 727-4234 and askmrgreenthumb.com.
Why choose Stafford Tree Service? Is it because they're experienced? Have the latest equipment? Absolutely. Stafford's positioned themselves as a leading tree trimming company in all of Tampa Bay. With honest professionals and competitive pricing, they'll earn your trust too. In business for over 15 years, Stafford Tree Service is since bonded and insured to provide you the very best tree trimming experience. Call today. 727-546-8786. 727-546-8786. On the web at c.com.
Biophilia, our innate attraction to other living things. It's why people love plants. And around Tampa Bay, Plants, that's Plantz, is bringing nature inside. In workspaces and homes by delivering beautiful foliage plants. Our plants increase oxygen and filter out pollutants, reducing stress and improving productivity. And get you in touch with your biophilic site. Go to plantz.us.
Welcome back to the Ask Mr. Greenthumb and Real Estate Show. Connect online at askmrgreenthumb.com. Got questions about gardening, real estate, or give him a call at 727-254-7127. That's 727-254-7127. And now your hosts, Stan and James DeFreitas.
And we're talking about a number of things. Candy is one of them. I was just finishing up on the Halloween idea.
Mm-hmm.
When I was a kid, we got big, shopping bags,
Mm-hmm.
and you would normally have it pretty much full. That's how far, we would march all over
Oh my goodness.
neighborhood.
Type 2 diabetes.
Well, it was, I don't know, the thing back then. And I felt a lot of kids would have mask things. Eventually you learn that you'd carry your mask in your hand it was hot and you couldn't see, and you're going to. But if you carry the mask, you stuck the mask on to the after you rang the bell, somebody to come to the door, and people usually like to see what you were dressed up as. But it was a thing. I think there again, it's a shame now. I think with the idea of fentanyl being passed off in candy and things, I think a lot of parents are afraid that that's going to happen. I haven't heard of any horror stories that did happen like that, but
it is scary that that's even a thought that I mean, that you're having to even consider. But yeah, you have to. I think parents. I mean, one thing I did is at least in my neighborhood, I saw a lot of parents supervising the children going up to the doors and stuff. And again, apparently this doesn't happen every in some places. It's just get a group and go from door to door, and I don't like that as much. I think that this is one of these times that parents need to be within a 50-foot distance, and you need to be sure that everything is okay. And yeah. So, but I find that I think should be obvious is not always obvious. And again, I don't have children, so I mean, what credibility do I have? But again, that's a lot of things. But really know if you have to.
House and the candy that I got from that particular home, and the children received, so that if you did have a problem, and you probably wouldn't, you could delete all those pictures. Not to get political, but if you have an open border, half these people force drugs across, and it's the American right to come in left.
Right, I mean, this is not a political. This critical period of time during the midterm elections, because they know the big.
But none of them come out and say, "I want to close the border."
Well, they all have that I didn't fully understand is the same more border patrol